So good morning everyone. Now I will teach you about the types of natural resources. So there are two types of natural resources. One is inexhaustible natural resources and second one is our existable natural resources. So inexhaustible resources, for example, solar, solar energy, air and wind. And our existable natural resources is also again subdivided into two types. One is our renewable resources and second is our non-renewable resources. So we need to know that what is non-renewable resources or what is renewable resources. So resources that can be renewed like soil, groundwater, forest, animals, etc. are called as renewable resources. So non-renewable resources, which are the resources that can never be renewed, like fossil fuels such as petroleum, natural gas and coals, metals, limestone and other minerals. Okay. So mainly inexhaustible natural resources are which cannot be exhausted through continuous use or misuse is called as inexhaustible natural resources. For example, sunlight, air, water, etc. Exhaustible natural resources, what do you mean by that? The natural resources which can be recovered over a period of time are called as renewable resources. For example, soil, forest, groundwater, etc. That we know that the natural resources we directly get from the environment, but there are types of natural resources which we can only get from the environment, but some are renewable and some are non-renewable. That means we can renew it, like our soil, forest, groundwater, etc. We can make forest, but we cannot make the petroleum products, that are coal, the minerals, the stones. We cannot recover it. Okay. So renewable resources, natural resources are taking time. It can be covered. It can be recovered over a period of time, but we can renew it. But non-renewable resources, we cannot renew it. Okay. So, what is renewable resources and what is non-renewable resources? We need to know that briefly. So, the natural resources which are consumed or depleted through continuous use and can be recovered by very hard efforts taken up for long periods are called renewable resources. For example, soil, forest, groundwater, etc. In other words, we can say that all renewable resources are replenished through natural cycles or manually. Okay, it can be replenished. For example, oxygen in air is replenished through photosynthesis. Forest is maintained themselves and manually. Similarly, fresh water is available through cycles and manually too. So most of the removable resources are interdependent to each other. Forest maintained the environment or climate, plants need to check soil erosion, and soil is needed for our plants. Air and insects are needed for pollination. So wood, fiber, fodder, fruits, vegetables, milks, etc. are developed. These are developed directly or indirectly by recent synthetic activity. So later on also we are going to learn about that what is photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? We all know that the process of this is a natural process, and this process can be done by the trees only, the plants only. By the help of this photosynthesis, they collect the energy from the sunlight, and after that they make their food. Okay. So the renewable of these resources will continue at as long as photosynthesis continues on this planet. When the photosynthesis is no longer is going on, then we are facing a lot of issues. These resources are the life support system which can fulfill all human needs, because we people are directly depend upon the trees, because from trees, from forest, we are getting a lot of things. We are getting food, we are getting shelter, we are getting wood, we are also getting this also help in medicinal things. Also we can get and the main thing, we are getting the oxygen from the trees only, from forest only. We are getting the oxygens, because the trees are inhale the carbon dioxide and exhale the oxygen. So this is the most important thing, because we people are inhale the oxygen and exhale the carbon dioxide. But its productivity, renewability is limited or depend upon availability of water, nutrients and environmental condition. We know that environment can again renewable these resources, but if the limited things that which are depend upon, like availability of water, if water is not available, if our nutrients is not available in the soil mass, and if our environmental condition is very bad, then it is very difficult to renewable these resources. So we have to maintain these things. We have to maintain our environment. We have to make it balanced, because these are the natural resources for us, because we are using this, but also we need to take care of this kind of resources, because it is very precious, and over a long period of time we are getting that. Okay, what are the non-renewable resources? Non-renewable resources are not replenishable, or we cannot get back our coal petroleum reserves in our lifetime. If once they are consumed or exhausted completely, then we cannot get any kind of a petroleum products. Okay, so non-renewable resources are metals like iron, copper, zinc, etc. Coal, oil deposits, minerals, stone minerals, salt, phosphate, nitrate and carbons, etc. So these are the non-renewable resources. If we people are using it, if we are going to misuse the things, overuse the natural resources, then rapidly we can consume it completely. And we people are facing a lot of problems, because nowadays people are preferring riding rather than walking. So we are also misuse the mineral petroleum products. So for our comfortableness, for our misuse of these resources, the environment is also facing a lot of problems. So we need to check it, we need to control this. Minerals are often called the stock resources because their new materials can only be extracted from the earth's crust once. But even in the transferred state in which they are used, they are not lost to the planet, and so are ideally available for reuse. Metal or minerals are come from a very slow process of geochemical concentration which took millions of years to form. Therefore, these deposits which occur today can disappear at some point of time in future, because it will take a lot of time. It took millions of years to form. So we need to control our misuse of things. Coal, petroleum and natural gases are also called as fossil fuels, because they are formed from dead remains of plants and animals buried in the earth long ago. Because it take a lot of time to produce, they are also called as fuels, because they are burnt to give off energy. The dead remains of plants and animals which are buried in the ground before a long ago, these are burnt to give up energy. Coal have a high heating value, hence it is a useful fuel. Since fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy, therefore it is essential to explore more and more alternatives. Today we are utilizing solar energy, wind energy, ocean, geothermal and atomic energy as an alternative sources of energy.